Hey guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Kenroy here. Now, by the end of last year, I started a project which is to build a shed in our garden. Now, I've wanted to build a shed for a very long time. You might have seen in a recent video me showing you how I was able to build a shed based on a budget using tools and materials that I had left over from previous projects, including using some of the old quarry tiles which we had from inside of our house from our ground floor renovation project which we did last year. Now at some point I'm going to do an update video on how things have been since we've done the renovation to our ground floor, so keep an eye out for that one guys. And if you haven't seen the videos, I've got a whole playlist from start to finish of all the projects and all the jobs that we were able to do, including the on the stairs cupboard, so go and check that out guys. I'll put the link above if you're looking for some inspiration on how to actually renovate your ground floor. So in today's video guys, I'm going to be showing you a little tour of the shed, what it looks like now that it's complete. Like I said, this video should have been out a little while ago, but I've been so super busy that I haven't been able to, and so better late than never, and hopefully you guys can be inspired by this video. Let's get to it. Okay guys, let's get into the real reason why you're here. Now, the first thing I needed to do now that I had my shed base completed was to actually find ourselves a shed. Now, the traditional shed is your shiplap, which is the cheapest version and can often be of a poor quality if I'm being honest. And while it's significantly cheaper than the one in which I went for in the end, which is this bad boy at £612, it is not cheap. And my justification for this was simply because this was made out of tongue and groove timber, which had a much stronger construction. Now I'm sure this will surpass the rating for the traditional shiplap timber. Now Wayfair is one of my favorite websites, although things can be pretty pricey on there, so it's a good idea to use your top cashback code, which I'll put a link in the description for you to sign up with our top cashback bonus, and we'd really appreciate if you could support us through this website. Now it's always a good idea to do a dummy run before actually starting to connect anything, especially with screws. Now here you can see that the bottom of our shed is fitting beautifully to the shed base which I've made previously. Now the next step is to simply connect these plywood using the pieces of timber which basically elevate it from the floor. Now the only thing that I will do differently here is to actually add some more pieces of timber to raise the shed even higher in order to prevent any water damage in the future. Now this is probably the easiest part of this project, which is connecting the 4 ready-made panels to the bottom of the shed which you constructed before. Now this is simply done like bits of Lego held together with some screws, but I highly recommend that you get somebody to give you a hand. This is definitely a two-man job, as these pieces of timber are quite heavy, and the last thing you want to do is get injured while trying to piece them all together. Now that the 4 sides are complete, it's now time for us to start putting the roof together, which can be quite tricky, especially in tight spaces. Now a little tip for you, if you are building a shed, it's a fantastic idea to make sure you have space all around the shed, which will basically allow you to have access to do regular maintenance as the years go by, and also to fit the roof. Now after we've put up these 2 triangular pieces at the front and the back, which main purpose is to give the height and the pitch for the roof, we simply then had to use the remaining 2 pieces of plywood, attach a batten on the top and the bottom in order to get it in place before we use the felt on top. Now depending on the type of shed you have, the construction of the roof will be different. However, the principle still remains the same. Plywood, felt, nails, job done. Now we had this massive roll of felt, and to my surprise, once I unraveled it, it came in 3 different pieces already cut, which was brilliant. Now I know that oftentimes you get it in one long sheet and you then have to get your tape measure out and actually cut this into several pieces before fitting it to your roof. Now I much prefer the fact that this was already pre-cut, which basically eliminate any errors. Now I recently went to build a shed for one of my subscribers here on the channel. Now we had to cut the felt ourselves and we actually made a little bit of a mistake, but thankfully we were able to get that sorted. I definitely would recommend the build quality and the finish of this shed, which we bought from Wayfair. Again, I'll put the link in the description below if you're looking for a great 6x8 shed. Okay, so perhaps one of the most vital part of a shed is of course the roof. Now although quite a bit of money was spent on this shed, it is still protected by your traditional felt, and this is pretty straightforward to attach. Like I said, it's best if you got 2 people and a ladder so that you can reach those really high places. I simply used a hammer and some special nails to just attach the felt as described in the diagrams. Once they're overlapped, the shed will be watertight. Once the felt is on, all that is left is to trim, tuck, and use these pieces of strips to batten down the edges, and the roof is all completed. Now I'm on the home stretch now, and now it's time for us to insert these perspex windows, which are basically pieces of see-through plastic held together by bits of timber to batten them in. And I have to confess that it actually looks really nice for what it is. Now the final thing to do is to attach the doors, and unfortunately my camera died and so couldn't film any of it. Okay guys, so the hinges are probably the most frustrating part of this project. However, stick at it and I'm sure you get it done. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get this video up last year when I completed this shed, and so all the shots you're seeing from here on in is from 2023, and I'm really happy with how the shed's held up. Now spring is here and we're looking forward to spending loads of time in the garden, and we absolutely can't wait to enjoy the outdoors. Now that we have a shed in the garden, we'll be able to store all of the things that we need for the garden, including the kids' toys. So we're so super excited for this. Okay, like I said guys, spring is basically here now, and so it's time for me to get out in the garden. In the weeks to come, I'll be doing some more update videos of me and the kids and Sophia in the garden, getting our veggies ready for this crop, this growing season. Now it's a nice spring day outside at the moment. We've just gotten over some snow, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like in the shed. Now I've got a little surprise for you guys, so keep watching and I'm going to show you what this surprise is. Are you ready? Okay, so most of you know when you've got a shed, the locks that they actually put on there are oftentimes not that great, so you end up having to use a sort of latch in order to keep it sealed, which I highly recommend. It's a bit old-fashioned, but it really works. And so that surprise that I was telling you guys about, I hope you're ready for it.
Welcome!
Sophia, this is Sophia's new house, by the way.
Welcome to my crib.
Oh Lord. This is how low we've sunk.
Oh, this is lovely. I have
nice garden
outdoors
space.
straight away. Gosh, getting out of the house is I'm tracking it. So no, it's lovely.
Yeah, so it's a bit messy in here at the moment, but it was worse before. I did try to at least straighten things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's a really nice size shed. Really happy I can stand in it, which is a real testimony of how tall it is. Yeah. But it's a really nice shed. I'm happy with how it all turned out. My brother was able to give me a hand to put it together, as you can see from the video. And yeah, now we've got a place to store our garden furniture, a few bits and pieces, and I'm trying to not get it all cluttered with all kind of junk. But
it's hard when you want to do all the DIY projects, but
yeah.
I just let him be. Once I can get my recliner chair when I need
yes.
it, it's amazing. When you have a bad back, you need all the rest you can get, and I get to be outside. It's a win-win, so I love it. I can't wait for summer!
Yeah, but I'm really happy. We ended up going with a more expensive shed than the one I saw at Home Bargains. We actually got this off Wayfair for a bit more than we thought we were going to pay, at over £600, but it is a much better quality, and I mean, we want it to last for years and years to come. So rather than getting the normal shiplap, which is the one that you sort of traditionally get, we went for a tongue and groove one, which is made out of solid timber. And yeah, it's really good. So far it's watertight, haven't seen any water. It survived the winter. We're now into spring, we've had snow, and yeah, everything seems good in here. It was locked up over winter obviously, but so far so good. So Sophia is really happy with the shed, which is also very important.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're looking forward to summer. Please summer, hurry up and come, because we were literally thinking spring is here. We were doing some flower planting a week ago, and then out of nowhere we had snow. I mean, we were covered in snow for a few days, which is just typical British weather. But all in all, we're really happy with our new shed. And yeah, I hope that this will inspire someone. If you're thinking about building a shed, we did this all by ourselves from start to finish, including the shed base. I recently did a project with a fellow YouTuber. I won't mention her name, but she saw my work here on YouTube, and she thought it would be a really good idea for me to come and help her. You know, it worked out that I, you know, had the time. She wasn't too far away, and I was able to go and help her to build her shed. So yeah, that was a really cool experience. Thank you so much for that opportunity. I've learned so much on it, and yeah, she was really happy.
Like a fleet of sheds.
Yeah, it's gonna be my new line of work, erecting sheds for people. But it was a really good experience. Despite the rain and the weather and everything, as you know, can't really get rid of here in the UK, bad weather. So it was good. So yeah, gonna go and carry on doing some DIY projects, some gardening today, and I hope you guys are blessed. Anyway, as always, this is Ken Roy saying, I'll see you when you see me. Take care.
Bye.